Good morning, everyone. Today's Monday, April 5th, 2021. Time is now 9:01 a.m. This is a special meeting agenda to go over the fiscal year 22 airport budget review. Attending are Commissioners Duncan, Brooks, and Filios. Do we have any changes to the agenda? Hearing none, our one and only action item. It's a review of the budget brought to us by Director Stephen Kiergaard. Go right ahead, Stephen.
Morning, Commissioner. Stephen Kiergaard for the record. With me is Linda Lee, my admin staff as well, if any specific questions, primarily with our travel budget. This year, pretty minor increase. We're only looking, taking capital out, only 2% increase. A lot of that has to do with either onboarding new people and planning for that if we need it. And then also, realistically, some corrections to sewer and water. Mostly because we realized that we are not correctly charging ourselves for sewer and water. So we figured we should probably start doing that. And also we've done some shuffling around and moving some engineering costs, kind of going through it for travel. When we hired 2 new staff, this year we didn't increase our travel budget to account for the ARF training. We do need to pay for that too. We need to send them to ARF. So that's where that increase is coming from. The herbicides is actually coming from Parks and Waterways. They are pulling back on a lot of their herbicide spraying on the airport. So we now need to pick up some of that as well, which is in the increase that we're seeing there. The radios is a continuation of the last couple of years. We're slowly replacing and upgrading our radio system that is out of compliance. It's just a continuation of 10,000. Engineering costs, we actually reshuffled some stuff around. We're actually increasing this pretty significantly. It is $25,000. We're closing out our cost of acquisition of surplus because we don't acquire much surplus anymore. We're taking that, moving that into engineering costs, but we're actually also looking to increase engineering costs, which is where we hire outside engineering firms to complete work on the airport. Primarily this is TO. Mostly because we have a lot of projects ongoing on the airport that are not always FAA projects. For an example, right now we've got some hangar development next to the infant electronic ramp. Well, that's about $7,000 going on. And there's just minor little projects that continually going on and updating and things like that that we've never, in my time here, we have not increased this budget and nothing has gotten cheaper in the 4 years I've been here. Okay. So. For the sewer and water, I just went over. It's correction. We needed our garbage collection goes up every year. Doesn't matter what we do. It's also a correction to paint for our sewer system. The Aero Simple is a software system that we have. We're reshuffling that into a right category, but it's also we need to stabilize that and put it into our budget every year. It went down from 15,000. We actually found a cheaper software system. This is actually, once we get it finalized, we're still working through setting up the whole thing, but this will actually move into being where we can provide anybody a login. So if there's a leasing question about anything, you can literally click on that lot. You can view who the contact is. You can see the lease terms, you can see what they pay, you can do anything. Then there's also our entire 139 setup, which is, in my opinion, more important to us as the airport, but it's something very important as well.
So for everybody's benefit, Stephen, please define 139.
So 139 is the federal requirement that the airport operates under for inspections and compliance, to ensure the safety standards at the airport. Okay. And then onboarding. Realistically, the airport has never had a code or a fund to set up for onboarding a staff. And to me, that's an oversight that we should have because, let's face it, staff moves on. And we should have a fund available that it costs money for us to add staff, to train staff. And then this is just a placeholder that says this is a cost that we know we can anticipate. We may use it, we may not, but we should have a placeholder for just having staff to be onboarded.
Okay.
And when you look at that, it's a pretty minor increase. When you look at the overall budget of not taking out capital, it's only about a 2% increase when you include both A and B budget. So not that significant. It's only 2%. Moving into the capital, looking to request a pickup truck. To be honest, I don't know if 35,000 is enough right now. I keep hearing numbers from other people outside that pickup trucks, what they paid last year in fleet mix, were about 31 to 32, and they're paying 39 for them right now. So I don't know if 35 is enough. The snow pusher cupping blade, we're actually starting to run into an issue with having so many leased hangars out now. All of our taxi lanes where we used to put snow, we can't put snow there anymore. So this is a solution to this problem of what we're having to do is actually take all the snow that is down all of our taxi lanes and pull it all the way back out and across and into the infield of the airport. And we don't actually have anything that can do this now. For example, one of our taxi lanes that we did, I had my staff try to do it with the equipment we have today. It took us over an hour to accomplish that, when before it took us about 20 minutes. So it's 3 times as long to plow out one taxi lane. And the issue is we just can't spend that much time cleaning out taxi lanes. And realistically, if we don't get something that changes how we plow, what we're gonna have to start doing is just plowing the way cities do and just push it into into people's leaseholds, and they end up having to deal with it. That's something I really don't want to do. Okay. The other is air stairs. This is kind of we keep getting requests from the fixed-based operators, both Stancraft and Resort. We have an air stairs that we picked up through surplus. The issue is it's really meant for 737 size aircraft. It's large aircraft. Well, we keep getting requests for smaller size, what are through what called their Embraer 145s. They're 50-seat regional jets because they're becoming extremely popular for charters. Well, the air stairs we have can't accommodate that. And this is, the FBOs would be okay purchasing it. It's just that I see this as a way of we could purchase it and we can actually charge the FBOs back for the use of it. For example, the air stairs, every time they use it, we charge them $200 every time they use it. And that way you don't duplicate resources on the field, and then we have some control over those resources as well. So if there's outside entities that come in that don't want to deal with either FBO, we can accommodate them as well. So occasionally military comes in and needs them as well. Okay. We actually just got a quote back that it was actually slightly more than 15,000, but it was 15,100.
You're saying these are like regional carrier size jet?
Yep, they're 50-seat regional jets. They don't have air stairs on them, and they just actually Resort had to turn down a charter because we didn't have a stair system.
Okay, so you're basically talking about charter types.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a group of individuals that were looking to actually go to Indianapolis for the Gonzaga games.
Okay. Fair enough. So. Questions for Stephen?
Yes. On your travel budget versus the onboarding and the ARFF, are there any, I guess when you were explaining it, I just assumed that the travel was for the ARFF.
So the travel budget is just for sending people to ARF. That's the only increase. It costs us, just the cost of the ARF class is about $2,000, just the cost itself. The travel, the hotel, it's a full week, and it's when you start adding up a full week in a hotel, meals per diem, travel time, everything like that.
So in the travel, does that include the 2,000
Yes.
school fee?
Yep.
Okay.
Now, what is ARF?
It's aircraft rescue firefighting class. Okay. It's a requirement under Part 139.
All right, so then on the onboarding costs, the 2 ops, and it says ARFF is 10,000.
Well, that's their job title, ops specialist, ARF specialist.
Okay.
That's typically what. Realistically, we can probably just delete that. We could just say that it's onboarding costs, instead of onboarding two
Okay,
specialists.
so what's in the onboarding costs, I guess, is what I,
It can be uniforms, it can be new radios if that's where they're at. It's paying overtime realistically for training having people come in to have overtime for them. Computers, just the different things that pop up that we need to have cover.
Okay. Keep going.
okay, let's see, the non-capital software, AeroSimple, so is this new, or is this is it taking the place of the $14,000 one?
It's taking the place of the 15,000 one.
Okay, and then is this ongoing, 12,000 every year?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's recurring, okay. Any others?
Yes, so have you put the pickup truck through fleet management?
No, we have not.
Okay, I would suggest you do that because we have okayed about 2 or 3 pickup trucks in the last couple months, and they've all been like 26 to 31 or something.
You might get your best deal that way.
That's good.
Yep.
One other thing I would add too is we did toss in another item for our total revenue. We are increasing our revenue by 32%. So we're going from 837,000 to 1.1 million. And that is based upon the April billing cycle of this year. That is not anything from April on for our leases. So any new leases from April, basically actually March, realistically March 15th on. And we are in process of leasing the entire north side except for one lot.
So you're saying that's not factored in?
That is not factored in, no.
What are you anticipating?
My guess is we'll be closer to 1.3 to 1.4 million.
So does this mean that general fund dollars will no longer be required to supplement?
That's my guess, but I do not want to budget something that's not under lease yet.
Okay.
But at this point, it looks like if your revenue's going up and we only gave you 160,000 last year, so it looks like you're pretty close.
Yep.
Bill, questions?
No, I don't.
Stephen, this year you got 2 FAA, let's call them bluebirds, things we didn't anticipate as a result of COVID. One was the 69,000, and then most recently the 23.
Yep.
So that's $92,000. Presumably that's in the revenue?
That is not included in any of the revenue because it was received this year. With the 69,000, we purchased the toolcat.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yep. And then we actually gave our toolcat to Buildings and Grounds that we had.
Okay.
And then this 23
That's
is
right, that
just
was the-
sat in our.
okay.
We just received it, and they hadn't even. Realistically, I didn't even know we were receiving 23,000 until we received it.
Yeah,
from
that was-
Senator's office.
Yeah,
I knew we were receiving something, but we never were notified until we received
right.
it.
Okay, but you don't have a use for that yet.
Not yet, no.
Okay, so maybe radios?
Probably radios.
Okay.
Okay. So that's fiscal 21.
And if the board would like me to, we can begin that process this year using that 23,000 instead of next year.
As long as it's appropriate for what the strings attached are.
So long as what we did is it was reimbursement of funds of staff costs is what we did.
Gotcha, for the
So it's
69,
just
right.
moved. So it's just funds balance that are moved in. So it's the same way as what the money that we pay with the toolcat. So once it's in our general fund, we can use it however we wish.
Fair enough. Any other questions? Linda,
Yes,
anything?
he's got it.
Okay. Any other questions for Stephen? None. Public comment? None. Wow, 9:16, meeting adjourned.
Sweet.
Thank you.